Welcome to the Infinite Life with Katische Haberfield. I'd like to take you on a transformative journey, exploring the mysteries of the soul. I hope you enjoy the regression case studies, mediumship interviews, and fascinating discussions that I've had with guests on the podcast. I hope that these answer some of the questions that you might have about life on this planet, on others, and in other dimensions. Thank you for joining me, and please don't forget to like and subscribe. And, most importantly, share with your friends. Namaste. Merry Christmas! It's almost Christmas, or it may even be while you're listening to this, from me, Katische, and my family, and my little kitty cat, Max, whose 8th birthday it happens to be today. I wanted to wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas and a wonderful, joyful, peaceful, happy New Year. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, then perhaps I just wish you a dose of wonderful heart-based love and festive greetings to you as well. Don't forget that we would love to continue to share the joy with you. Thank you for supporting the podcast. We appreciate it every time that you listen and share with a friend. We'll be back with 4 more episodes of the Happiest Moments of Our Soul with Trudy Mellons, who is our final guest for the season. And then we will take a break while we wait for applications for season 13 and season 14. And for those sessions to begin. So if you're interested in finding out what's happening in 2025 on the podcast, head to katische.com, KATISCHE.com, and you'll find the information for applying to be part of season 13 and season 14. So now it's time for me to take you back to the episode that you came here for. Namaste. So welcome back to the Infinite Life with Katische Haberfield podcast. And this week we are very grateful to have Cindy Porter, life coach, back with us so that she can help me review session 2 of my Happiest Moments of My Soul session. Now, I'll admit there's not much that I can actually remember from this session, Cindy. I haven't reviewed this file, and I can remember the first scene with the elephant, and that's all I'm going to say. The rest of it I don't remember. Okay. Which is unusual for me, I feel. So I'll let you take over.
Okay, so why don't we just dive straight in then and just go through it, and we can rediscover together rather than me talk about it.
Great, perfect. Let's go.
Okay, here we go. Comfortable and relaxed. The angels know the way. They are taking you to a moment in time that is important for you. Drifting and floating through time and space, and now the angels are stopping. They are bringing the bubble of white light that you are in back down to the surface. The bubble of light is on the surface now. I'm going to count from 3 to 1, and when I reach 1, you'll be on the other side of the white bubble, our destination for today. 3, moving through the white light. 2, moving through the white light. 1, be on the side of it now. You're in another place, another time. Look around you. Engage all of your senses. Look with your mind's eye. Feel and know through your energy body. Listen with your spiritual ears. What is your first impression?
sharp. Like a crystalline cave. And I tried to go down the steps into the cave, but it seems very jagged, like it might cut my foot, but I'm not quite sure. It's like, do you know if you go down an escalator in a shopping centre, the escalator edges look quite sharp, but you don't ever cut yourself on the foot, do you? You just you realise that it's flat, but it's got a sharp edge.
Yep.
So I think that if I just imagine that that's like an escalator made of crystal, then I can go down there.
One of the things that I found interesting is me providing you with that analogy of the crystals being sharp but flat like an escalator. They were not horizontal.
Okay, so that's interesting. Yes.
That was the way that I was trying to explain to you, that I was almost like afraid of the crystals. I saw them as very clear and white and like an upright vertical crystal with a sharp pointed edge. So like if you were buying a really beautiful Lemurian crystal or something like that, really big and really sharp. And I felt like I was having to step over them, kind of to speak. But I also knew that had to be something that my mind was trying to grapple with, because I knew it was sharp, but it wasn't hurting me. And that's how I saw that I had something on my feet, which my human mind said they're slippers, because I could not feel my feet being cut or hurt or bloody, but they were sharp. I knew the crystals were sharp. So that's why I was struggling, because it didn't seem to fit within my human context.
Yep. Okay. Yep. Yeah, that is a difficult thing to explain across, isn't it? Yeah.
Because we don't have anything to relate it to. There's nothing, nothing similar.
Nothing to compare. Yeah. Nothing comparative. Okay, we'll keep going.
And it feels like a round cave. No, not round. Oblong, like a gigantic emu egg, but made of crystal. Okay. Makes sense, but anyway, keep going. That's domestic.
Oh, okay. I've figured out that as well.
Yeah.
Pretty.
I don't think I say this further, but the analogy that I got was, if you ever go to the Crystal Castle and Cafe just on the hinterland side of Byron Bay,
yes,
there is this amazing place, where you have to book and pay, but it's a cracked open amethyst, and you can literally sit inside it. And people do. So on the outside, it's black like an emu egg, and on the inside, it's completely all crystals.
Yep.
Yet human beings, and it's sharp to touch, yet human beings can also lie down on it. And they do. They pay for an hour session. I've never done it. But I guess it's like, what do they call them? Those Shakti mats, where you lie down on the pinpoints, and it gives relief to your body. And so that's why I was like, it's black emu egg, but crystals on the inside. So yeah.
So it's like a big geode. Yep.
That's the word. Yes.
Yeah.
You know more about crystals than me, but yeah.
Yep.
Plates hanging on the wall, like decorative plates. Okay, so maybe this is like somebody's house.
Yes, I was going to say, is this a home?
Yeah, somebody's house that's been like bedazzled the house. What are some of these plates? Doesn't make sense, but it looks like a picture of lions' faces.
Okay.
They're not scary lions, like a family portrait of a lion.
Yeah.
I see it as like a kid's drawing. You know, like if they go to kindergarten and they have to they say, draw me a picture of your family. And so the kid drew a picture of his family, and his family is lions.
Yep.
But these aren't like earth lines. These are like lines from Lyra. You know, the planet Lyra, or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Korean lines. Anyway.
Lyria.
Something like that. I think that's a picture of Lyria. I think that's a picture of a family from there.
Yep. Okay.
And my heart feels happy. So maybe that's my family from when I was there.
Okay. But just because your heart feels happy.
No, I think maybe I was the kid who drew the picture.
Okay. Is that what you feel? Feel into that?
Yeah, I feel like there's a picture of a little kid lion with a big cheesy grinny face, like, this is me, and that's my mum, and that's my dad, and see, I drew me in the middle.
Okay. So in that case, if you...
I think that's interesting how you particularly comment that you drew you in the middle.
Yes. And it also is interesting because, when I'm talking about plates on the wall, and you know that I have got some decorative plates on the wall, which are of fairies that I bought. And I hate collector plates, like they're not my style, but I had to have these fairy plates.
Yep.
And it kind of, that's sort of like my brain was going, oh, it's like that. But at the time I wasn't thinking, oh, that's why I bought them. But now I'm like,
but maybe.
Yeah. And I could very easily see this picture of me and the lions, because I remember being at kindy when they used to do the drawings and they put it on a plate.
Yes.
And it was the same thing. And I remember in this lifetime being perplexed at what do they want me to draw. I think I even said it to them. What do you want me to draw? So yeah, I felt like I could see that's how I knew it was me in the middle, and it was a little kid's drawing, because I was having and I thought that was interesting because right here we're talking about the lions, and we alluded to that in the last session, because you remember when we were talking to the Indian dude that I once was.
Yes.
He said we could go to the lions.
Yes.
And it started smiling, and then he said, oh no, baby angels are more interesting, or something like that.
Yes,
so
exactly.
Here come the lions again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Look down at your feet now. What do they look
Sensation.
like? If you look at your feet.
Got slippers on. I've got trousers that go into slippers. Like,
okay, so if you look at...
I like Ugg boots, but like...
Yep. Okay, so if you look at your hands.
I'm going to say they're hairy.
Okay, yep, great. That's all we need to know. Okay, what else can you see?
I was trying to get you to see that you were like a lion type, not so much humanoid at the time.
Right. Yeah,
because you hadn't really expressed that. So I was trying to get you to notice what your feet actually look like and what your hands actually looked like, to like help bring that in at that point in the session.
Yeah, I could very specifically see what were on my feet. I think I'd explain it in a second. I couldn't find the words to express what they were.
Yeah.
And then just now, when we were talking about my hands, I saw my father's hands, not my hands. And the reason was because whenever I see a flashback of my father, I see his hands and the hair. He had quite dark hair on his arms, but no hair up here because of the t-shirt.
Yep.
Very 1970s, 1980s. And that was how he shows me it's him, but that wasn't him. It was just that he was showing me the hair, so that I got that my arms had hair on them.
Yep. Okay, interesting.
which doesn't match with an elephant, does it? A hairy elephant.
No.
Anyway.
Oh, what can you...
So,
Yeah.
do you know the kids' cartoon Alibaba, the book?
Yep.
With the elephant?
Yep.
And he's a king, and this is like that. It's like he's got slippers on, but they're maroon, purpley, and they're comfy and cushy. And then he's wearing pleated pants. Like this is his around the house clothes, but he's still ironed and pressed his pants with the crease going down the front so that you can see them, which does seem a bit much for your around the house pants. And I think the lion is a he, not a she.
Oh, I just said lion,
And
right?
I think
Exactly. You make the reference to the elephant, but we're talking about lions.
Yeah. But like the other day, even when I created a graphic with AI to create it, I created an elephant. So I feel like maybe it's like a hybrid.
Yeah, it's something strange going on with that because you make those cross references and it's not clear. It's not clear. That's what the whole thing with me trying to get you to look at your hands and your feet and everything were about because it wasn't clear to me that
Yeah, and
you
maybe it could
were.
be like we use the word human and humanoid, so it could be like a lianoid,
Yeah.
a lion elephantanoid.
Okay. But yeah, there's something different about it for sure.
it's like wearing a vest. He's got a backpack on though. That's doesn't make sense, but it's like the backpack is a hard case and it's shaped like a turtle shell.
Yep.
So it seems like he's come down into this room to come and get something before going somewhere.
Yep.
Like he's come to take something from a bedside table.
Yep.
There's a big ring. Better take that. I don't know what it does, but it's oval and kind of like a moonstone, but red. It does something, but it's not to do with moods like the human ones, you know, how they change color, you know, those silly ones. Yeah, it's not like that, but it looks like that. And it's gold is the metal.
Yep.
And then what else do I see? Some flowers in a vase, but they don't have water in it because they don't need water. But they're kind of stiff like an everlasting flower, but they're sort of shiny, like made out of something that we would call Lego or plastic.
Yep.
But they're not fake. That's how they look.
Okay.
Doesn't make sense, but anyway. There's flowers and then there's...
You want to know what's really interesting, Cindy?
What? What was that?
I don't usually do this. I haven't done it for a while, but
Oh my
before
goodness.
we started this session, I had to go outside and pick some flowers and put them in a vase.
Wow. Because you don't normally do that.
No, I haven't done that for a long time.
Yeah. Wow.
Since I was dating a certain somebody. And the other thing is that ring he's describing is also linked to a private session that you didn't do with me, but somebody else did with me. That was gold, had a necklace that was gold with a red center.
Oh, serious? Wow.
And Zadkiel's laughing in the background
Mm.
because he says, same, but this time you had a lion heart and it was on your ring. And the other time you had a brave heart that got broken and it was
On the
around someone else's neck, but was a symbol of your heart. So there you go.
Oh
Interesting.
my God. Wow. Interesting.
I saw the same thing. It was very definite.
Wow.
Silver oval shaped mirror on the wall. And something that we would call a fridge. It's not a fridge. I guess that's where you put your food. And there's some, I think that's like a butterfly. That's like a pet butterfly. It's not a butterfly. You know what I mean? Similar sort of a thing. There's some kind of a animal fluttering around the room. There's a couple of them. They're small. And they're happy to see me. But they know that I'm going away again, and maybe I've come to feed them, but that doesn't seem right. Maybe they've come to give them the keys. That doesn't make sense either, but something, doing something with them here. And then backpack just sort of lit up a bit, like it went green around the edges.
Oh, I see.
And
they are the key to the backpack. So I got the Harry Potter analogy, you know, when the keys
flying
flying.
keys. That makes sense, yep. Because it was difficult to follow what that was all about during the session, so that makes perfect sense, yeah.
I feel like I've got a suitcase, like the old-fashioned suitcases that were rectangular.
Yep.
And I feel like it's packed because I just heard that click, you know, the old, but I don't see it. I can sense it, but I don't see it.
It's okay.
So I must be about to go on an adventure.
Yeah, can you feel where you're going?
Clean here and shiny and pretty. No, but I just got a pork pie hat, put it on my head. You know those British hats?
Yep.
Some people might call them the detective hats. I seem to have a cigar, which is gross, but it's not a cigar. I don't know what you do with that, but you put it in your mouth. Oh, and poof, you go up into the air. Why'd you do that?
Interesting.
But I've just gone up into the air like Mary Poppins does. I don't have an umbrella, but I've gone up into the air. But it's a bit like Morrigan Crow. I don't know if you read that story, but she catches an umbrella line to go to school.
Yep.
And so I'm catching some sort of again, invisible vehicle to go somewhere. And it's like a cross between a ski chair lift and I wanted to say it's enclosed, but I can't see the edges because it's a bit invisible like the suitcase.
So is it like an invisible barrier?
And I know I can't. Yeah, I can't get rained on, for example.
Yep.
But I'm inside.
Yep.
So I'm safe.
Yep.
Can't fall out. edges aren't solid.
Like being transported in a bubble of white light.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah.
And also, when I was describing this, I was like, now I can see how fiction can sometimes completely just be downloads from people's past lives.
Yeah. It makes perfect sense, doesn't it?
Mm.
I've noticed that more and more with the more work that we've done together and with work I've done with others, how that is like, yeah.
Because I was like, darn, geez, if I could write fiction, I could write great stories, but it's like, that doesn't seem to be my purpose.
No, but the stories are there, right? Just
Yeah.
download them. Yep. Okay.
You get what I mean?
Yep.
So now we're going down quite fast. It looks like we're going into a lagoon, but we can't be going into the lagoon, but it's like it goes underneath the water.
Yep.
Which is weird because I thought I was underground already, but I was underground and then I went up into the air and then I've gone down again. That's quite strange. Let's see.
But you don't do that with an aeroplane or anything, do you? You know, you go up and then you go down.
Exactly.
Just follow it down gently.
Do you remember what that bit was about?
I was like seeing like an underground city like Avatar.
Yeah, just because of your body reaction, like you had a big reaction there.
Like, I don't want to go under there. I'm not sure I want to go under there. Yeah, it was resistance.
Yeah.
My backpack off now. I took off my gear. This sounds ridiculous, but it's like, do you know, I've gone to a fairy realm because it's like in that lake was a hotel.
Yep.
And like the doorman was the one who greeted me and took my invisible suitcase and my backpack.
And your backpack, yep.
And he was dressed in doorman's clothes.
Yep.
Yeah. He's like a doorman dressed in doorman's clothes, except for he was a frog.
Oh, I know. The other thing that I was seeing simultaneously was that then I was, because you know how my brain references all the things that I've seen.
It does, yeah.
So in the last 2 years, I've been reading the Encyclopedia of Fairies by somebody. Anyway, the Encyclopedia of Fairies, it's a story, a two-part series. And in one of them, she does go down into a lake, but it's an Iceland. So it's freezing cold, and she has to go down in there, and she's held hostage, and it's not a nice scene. She's married to a king. But I wasn't feeling that as in this was me pretending to go into fairyland. I was just getting the simultaneous things of an Avatar kind of kingdom, but also a fairy kind of kingdom.
Yep.
And I think that then allowed me to see the frog, because I needed to see that the doorman was welcoming.
Yep. As opposed to what you'd been reading about. Yep.
That resistance feeling, yeah.
Yep.
On his legs. Oh dear, this is quite ridiculous.
No, it's not.
Right, so we're in some kind of a creature's world.
And I had read that book at least a year before this session, so it's not recent.
What are you doing now?
Yeah, so yeah, there is that distance. So yeah, from it, yeah.
I'm looking over that way because there's a table with some delicate looking, I'm quite seeing it, ladies. They're having cups of tea. I'll just tip my hat and say hello. And keep going down this way. This way is all through the lobby.
Yep.
Looking through the lorry where there's lots of people all dressed as if they're about to go off and do whatever they do for their business for the day.
Yep.
I'm going through this way and they've just opened the doors. They said, "Step this way, sir." The big doors like a conference room.
Yep.
And I feel like I just changed into a disguise, like I shape-shifted.
Okay.
So that I don't look like a lion anymore because that would scare these people. So I've put on a friendlier costume.
Yeah.
I thought that part was interesting.
Mm.
That you, have to disguise yourself to go forward.
Yes, and also the resist. It's still also because when I tipped my hat, right, the first thing that to the ladies, the first thing that I saw and I thought at the time was, isn't that interesting? That's the same way Archangel Michael tips his hat to me sometimes in client sessions.
Yep.
They'll say he just did that. But then I got an image and I thought of, isn't it interesting? Because I could have seen this scene if we wanted to think about the context of my childhood and if we were looking at images that would help me navigate and understand this.
Yeah.
I could have also seen myself as being like Toad of Toad Hall in Wind of the Willows because I loved that as a child and I watched that even with my children. But there was something about me that repulsed me about the toad, but they were all very well dressed and civilized characters.
Yep.
And again, there's something there with the lion because lions are scary, right?
Yeah.
And obviously they're also scary to these people. And maybe that's because they have an enforcer's role as well as an educator's role. Maybe they're policing civilizations, or maybe they're undercover kind of people. I don't know, because we only did 2 sessions and this is a happiest moments. We're only seeing the happy moments, and so we don't get to see why there's resistance or fear. Yeah.
Yeah, the rest. Yeah, exactly.
Let's see. Does seem like there's lots of tables.
Yeah.
And there's a stage.
Yep.
And I can't see who's at the tables. That's kind of like in darkness.
Yep. Where are you going?
I know there's people there, but it doesn't seem to be relevant to the stage. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to deliver a lecture.
Yep.
So I can see a lectern.
Yep.
And I put some papers on the lectern.
Yep.
And that thing that I smoked that I didn't smoke, I put it beside me.
Yep.
Now on the lectern.
Yep.
Oh.
What are you going to lecture on? Do you know?
I can't tell at the moment. There's purple behind my eyes. It's like I'm hesitant to know what to just.
Yep.
And I think that purple is healing, because one of the big things that I have struggled with in this lifetime is that I started off as an academic.
Yeah.
And I started off as a university lecturer.
Mm-hmm.
And so speaking behind a lectern was unnatural to me. And I had great personal, oh God, it still comes up now. Great. Wow, I didn't expect that.
Interesting.
Great sense of personal grief. Yeah.
Around that. Mm-hmm.
When, that career had to dissolve for personal circumstances. And because I chose a different path. And so obviously the sadness is both the human component, because obviously it was the first thing that I decided to do. Not the first thing, it is in a way. I started off in an academic's office as a tutor, and then I did another career, and then I came back to it and then became the lecturer. So obviously it's linked to the happiest moments. So I have been a lecturer before, and it brought me great happiness, but in this lifetime it wasn't meant to be. And so therefore I, as a personality who keeps bringing in all these different avatars that have been finishing off stuff, so to speak, feels like, but I was supposed to do that. That was easy and natural, but it didn't work out. And why did it not work out? You know, that logical, rational mind. And as the angels keep telling me, just move forward one step at a time. But I do look back sometimes and think, what did I do wrong? But I would also not do what I do now. Do you know what I mean? So it's like that recognition that I've done it before in a different capacity and I can do it, but it's not what I'm here for, which is really weird, because that's lecturing is also teaching. And so you talk to me a lot about teaching and why aren't I teaching in my podcast? And I say to you, but I am teaching in a different way through demonstration, because I don't feel as though I'm supposed to stand up and deliver lectures about spirituality. I'm supposed to demonstrate it.
Yes, we've had these discussions many times ourselves around this subject. So, it is very interesting.
That's how it links into him lecturing. Anyway, long story for a short moment.
But it's also interesting to me, your reaction to it even now. So I do think there's still some work for you to be doing there. You're still getting those responses. So, but that's for another day. We'll move on.
Double what I'm teaching or delivering a message on.
Remember that you're very safe and you're very protected.
Deeper.
Yeah, I worried you were struggling there with it.
It's lots of pages of notes. But I don't feel like I'm going to read all those notes. I think like
they're only when you get stuck.
Whereas you hand. No, you know, like if you go to deliver a conference paper, you hand in the conference paper to the organisers, and then your speech is just like the summary. You can read the details later. So I think I have the notes are part of the conference paper. And they're just there to say, look, here's the paper. And I hand it in at the end of the speech. But there's a clicker of some sort that's shaped like a lady beetle.
Do you have a slideshow?
And when, so you click on the lady beetle and sends a beam out from the lady beetle to the projector screen.
Which we'd call them mice. So similar sort of analogy, right?
It is, right? Exactly. It is exactly. Mind you, I had this picture of you holding this, in my head, of you holding this beautiful red and black ladybug. When you said lady beetle, that's what came to my mind.
Yeah, I saw it as bejeweled. Again.
Yep.
This whole bejeweled, bedazzled. Like I saw it as gems, like red and black gems.
Yep.
How posh are you? Do you need a gemstone clicker? So.
How to deal with humans 101.
Still struggling with that?
It's a bit silly. How to deal with humans 101.
Made me giggle.
Because people in this room wish to remain unidentified.
Yep.
But they're going to be sent to Earth soon
Mm-hmm.
to help the world believe in the realms that they can't see.
I found that part fascinating. I
Mm.
thought that was really cool.
Have you
And
seen Trudy's session?
I have.
No, you can't if it hasn't gone live.
I was going to say, I
It's
do
next.
not. Yeah.
Wait till you see her second episode, because in comes one of these creatures. I've just made the link now.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Cool.
Yep. Sorry.
I
Can't
love
see.
it how
Link
things
in.
like this all link together. It's amazing.
Wow.
With their human eyes.
So these are big missions.
So like I said, I can't even see who they are
Okay.
myself. But I know they're there. And I know that there's some kind of a group. We're sending people from all sorts of kingdoms.
Yep.
To teach different sorts of wisdom about nature and creatures that inhabit different planets, and how we can help humans to discover the simple ways that nature does teach humans how to be humans, whilst connecting with the invisible wisdom from the ancient realms that did create the planet that they live on. Does that make sense?
Yep.
I got that now. Because they don't wish to be identified as whatever of the different civilizations they're in, they then therefore put a screen for me so I couldn't see them. So I couldn't say, well, there's the blue people, or there's the, whatever they are, because humans are still afraid of aliens. And so
Yes.
therefore, if I'm doing this where I'm showing that something happened, therefore they don't want people to feel chaos or invasion or other words like that, because they're going to come in as elements of nature, not as themselves.
Yep.
Because they're imparting wisdom, they're not conquering or causing destruction.
Exactly. I also wondered if that had to do with why you put a disguise on going in. So you were also not recognized.
Yes. And I think also they didn't want me to go, oh, I know that person, or I know that person. And also because there was fear for me last night. Each time, even each time I do these sessions and know they're about to go live. So my first session is live now, and the second session will go live on Sunday. I still do have fear.
Yep.
Surrounding exposing my galactic origins.
Yep.
In particular, it seems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always been a fear source for you, the galactic connections. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know if anybody does remember the blue rhinoceros from Megan's session, in the Starseed session. She was on a planet where there was a blue rhinoceros that was her favorite animal.
Yep.
And I can't remember what she said, but there was something special about that blue rhinoceros.
Yep.
And we don't have blue rhinoceroses on Earth. but just like that special rhinoceros had a special meaning and healing ability.
Yep.
So do the animals and the trees and the wind and the sea and the rain and the thunder and the clouds and the moss and the butterflies and the bees. But those are just iterations of species and sentience that has been around for billions of years on billions of planets.
Yep.
And the Earth is ready to connect the lineage and the wisdom between the root cause, the original species, original creature that Source did create, and the creatures and sentience we have on Earth now.
And this is interesting because I've been drawn to Daryl Annika and his channeling of Basha in the last few months.
Yeah.
And Basha specifically talks about what his concept of contact is. And contact, which I haven't studied at all, I didn't go down that rabbit hole. I just keep seeing the reels in my Facebook and YouTube, as the algorithms do.
Yep.
But he talks about the fact that Basha is a being who is from a parallel or future, depending upon how your brain wants to turn it, timeline.
Mm-hmm.
And we can switch into that timeline, and there is a legion of planets who wish us to come in alliance with them, but we have to change our vibration to make contact. And it requires a heart opening to do that. So he uses different language than other people in the spiritual world, but I seem to be drawn to a little bit, like I haven't paid to do any courses or attend any live sessions, but the clips alone have sort of described that. And I don't know if it's the same sort of thing as this, but it's when you get out of the fear-based narrative, when humans can deal with their own fear and clear their limiting beliefs and, as we called it in the last session, sticky bits in the aura, then these support mechanisms from higher frequencies or dimensions or whatever you want to call can assimilate. But it also shows me that this, and we don't know when this was or is or shall be, that in the meantime we are receiving the wisdom, or maybe we have already, through the flowers and the trees and the bees and the plants anyway, because that is the form where we are seeking respite through, away from the fears, get outside in the nature and listen, put your hands on the tree, that sort of thing.
Yep, absolutely. You've just, give me the full body reaction talking about that. So, yep. It's 100%.
Yeah. And yesterday I did stop. Yeah. And the day before yesterday, I went for a big walk, right? And you'll find this interesting. We had some flooding here, not in my house, but massive deluge of rain.
Yeah.
And a lot of the areas were flooded, and I stayed in the house all weekend, so I totally missed it. But I went for a walk and then saw the destruction. There was a lot of cars written off. No lives were lost, but whole building sites completely engulfed. And on the way back, I was really tired. It was really hot, and I put my hands on the tree. Also did some channeling, but live on YouTube, which was really weird. And before I've just put my hand a little bit there, and I thought, oh yeah, this is supposed to help me move energy. I put both my hands there, and I got this huge energy release. Like it was like almost taking a huge, massive sigh, but coming through my hands, from my hands into the tree. And I thought, wow, I've never received that before.
That is interesting, because that's how I like to touch trees, is like full both hands right on. Yeah.
Yeah. I've sort of only pretended before, let's be honest. So I've just gone, hands on trees, look, giving tree a hug, but never gone.
But you haven't actually been open to it at the time, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I find it, yeah, really beneficial to do that. You need to keep doing that.
So it's like something has happened or changed that has allowed Mother Gaia to say, tick, criteria met. Okay, enough people care about the planet now to create a chain of transference that gets sent or whatever it's going to do. But so this conference is because these creatures, they're not creatures, these beings that are here in disguise, will be sent to Earth. And I don't know what they're going to be. Maybe they're new species of birds and butterflies and bees or whatever. Or they're just maybe small iterations. But because the humans are starting to see the beauty in nature, they can learn how to see the beauty in themselves. And by letting the nature and the creatures help the humans feel more relaxed and more loving, they can be kind to the creatures. And what this just does is that this means that they will be kinder to themselves. And when they are kinder to themselves, I don't know, magical things do happen. And at a cellular level, when magical things do happen, they can reignite the spark of love within, which helps heal their hearts. And I think I just left the room.
So you finished
That
your
might be
lecture?
all I'm allowed to say, but you get the picture.
Yep.
Seems to have gone.
Okay, so where are you going now?
I don't know where I've gone to. Back in that thing.
It was just interesting, side note, that Cleopatra had to come in for that part of the conversation now. To be in there while we were talking about nature and being kinder to nature and everything. And then, as you said, you left, off she went.
Yeah, she was very restless then, wasn't she?
She was. Yeah, she was big time.
So you're transporting.
So I do believe that was just maybe I was there for quite a few days, but that was just like a
glimpse.
You know when you watch a video and fast forward? A glimpse, that's the word.
Yep. Where do you find yourself now?
think I'm going up very high.
That was interesting. Do you know why the pain there over your heart?
It's this bit where I don't remember now.
Yeah, okay. So don't think we got to that.
High again.
Yep.
And I see a rocky cliff face. Like, it doesn't make sense, but as if I was going to climb Mount Everest or to consult with an eagle.
Yep.
Or a vulture might be a better word.
Yep.
Oh. It's not very helpful, guys.
But maybe you are going to consult with
They
a
just
vulture.
showed me. Have you ever, they showed me a scene from. Did you ever watch Angry Birds, the cartoon?
Oh,
Probably not. You
I've
don't
seen
have
it.
But
Maybe once.
do you know the Angry Birds? Yeah.
Yep.
There's a big eagle creature that lives on the very top
Yep.
of a mountain, and all the angry birds are kind of scared of him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not him, but you know what I mean. That's
Yep.
like, trying to show me something to make me laugh. But I was like, it's all right, dudes. I kind of got the picture. I could see the craggy rock face. And it's also a bit like when, in the most recent Star Wars, or second most recent one, where they discover Luke Skywalker as an old man on that remote island, and the young girl goes to train with him.
Yep.
And he really just doesn't want her there, but he would just rather be alone.
Yep.
So I feel like I'm going to consult some master in the sky who takes on the form of a vulture or an eagle or something like that.
Yeah.
No. He's not the master. He protects the entranceway. He's like the bodyguard.
Gatekeeper.
Okay. So the vulture is like the guardian.
Mm-hmm.
Does he let you in?
I'm just getting orange behind my. I'm just getting a bit of a consultation from Archangel Michael.
Okay.
Because I don't have to go here, but this is Father Sky issue.
Oh, right, yeah.
Go say, do you get anything more from that?
Grand Central Sun, which links back to the Egyptian past life with the whole Ra issue, which listeners won't understand. That's just a private message between us. But yeah, sometimes these come through.
Yeah.
So it was not. So Father Sky, just to give you some context, and I'm not giving anything away here. Father Sky issue is the religious-based issue of why I don't like calling it Father Sky, Mother Earth, and it's to do with the lifetimes in Egypt with Ra and the difference between certain parental figures and myself.
Yeah.
And then there are other issues of the Grand Central Sun, which just had a lot of issues with authority figures.
That is interesting that it comes up again and again, isn't it? Yeah. Okay.
So this is so.
Sorry, they're not authority figures; they're wisdom figures.
Yeah, that makes better sense. Actually, that's more logical. A better description, I should say.
Wisdom figures are wisdom beings, which is the same issue that I've had with the God, the Christian God, in many of the past lives. So there we go. That's an important insight for me, because I always say I have an authority figure issue, yet I've never been in trouble with the law, blah, blah, blah. I've been a good girl my entire life, but I have struggled with esoteric, spiritual, and religious wisdom figures and beings.
Figureheads, yes.
And That's what it's wisdom. It's wisdom, and that's what I said about peeling back the head.
Yep. There you go.
Allow the inner wisdom. Oh, yeah. Okay, so we've got it. Okay, that was good. Thanks.
That's very good
wisdom
insight.
is the issue.
Very good insight.
Esoteric, spiritual, and religious wisdom.
Imagine someone said you have to go to the top of the highest mountain on earth and climb up in your best suit. And then when you get there, you have to say something smart and wise for the vulture to open the door.
Yep.
And then because you're going to the sun, you have to trust that if you step into the sun, you will not get burnt. Because imagine if somebody said to you, you're going on an expedition to the sun today, you would say, don't be stupid, you'll burn up on entry.
Okay.
Because that is what science tells us, right? So Archangel Michael just said it's okay, you don't have to go there, but if you want to see the wisdom, you have to be brave enough to step into the sun. So I'm just getting my big girl boots on.
That in itself, with what you've just realized about how you feel about wisdom, authority. I keep using the word authority.
Yeah.
I can't help it. But those higher wisdom figures, because as you've just explained it, like stepping into the sun, in what we know with our knowledge, like you'd burn up, right? And there's this whole push against traditional wisdom, right? With even just right here. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you see?
Yeah. And also I see the parallels of my fear of coming out with this, of my own wisdom and stepping into the spotlight, which is like sunlight, and being eaten up by commenters on YouTube or whatever, haters. And I keep watching, when I see these little clips from Basha, for example, I think, it's okay. Imagine how Daryl Annika felt when suddenly Basha contacted him to channel. He's gone through all of it, and he still does, and it doesn't bother him. You'll be fine. But it's that. And living in Australia, we have a particularly strong tall poppy syndrome, right?
We do.
So we like to chop the heads off flowers or figureheads when they step out of line by going against the grain or the tradition. And so I see that as a parallel analogy.
Yep. Absolutely.
Or big girl undies or whatever.
Yep.
Getting my brave buckle on. And what I've done is I've taken off my suit and I've put on doesn't make sense, but I'll go with it, a Vikings outfit. Because that makes me feel courageous and courageous. No, that's the same word, right? Courageous.
Yeah.
And a bit like I can do anything.
Like a superhero.
I've got a big, like Thor's hammer in my hand.
Yep.
Analogies this time. And what I've realized is that you know how the Japanese represent the sun? It's like a round disc.
Yep.
Or a bronze disc. Or like in sound healing, you would say it's the big bronze round sound healing gong, like a gong, right?
Yep.
So the door to the sun is like a gong, and you just bang this Thor's hammer onto it, and it makes that
reverberating sound. Yep.
Sound.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I said this as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I had the analogy of monkey magic at the same time. I don't know if did you watch Monkey Magic in the 70s? Yeah. I don't know if they had a gong in there, but like when I was seeing that, I was seeing like scenes from Monkey Magic. So that was also weird for me.
I think you may have mentioned that as we go
Yeah,
on.
we might have, yeah. But I
Yeah.
definitely saw a big buckle, brave buckle. Vikings
Yep.
have big buckles, yeah.
I thought it was interesting that you chose Viking, knowing the work that you and I have done together that came back in as well.
Yeah.
I found that personally interesting. Yeah.
Brave but dead. Sorry.
Exactly. Yeah.
You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to get a rocket ship. You just bang gently on the door, and then man that looks like he's from Monkey Magic opens the door.
Yeah.
Slides across. Weird.
Oh, I got a
Definitely
second.
not.
Sorry.
Yep, go.
So when you've taken me and we've gone by the Akashic Records
Yep.
route, so when I climb up the beanstalk and go
Beanstalk.
there, and you ask me to see if the Akashic guide is there, he is the guy that looks like somebody from Monkey Magic.
Okay. That's really interesting. Yep, okay. Cool.
So I'm wondering if the analogy is the brown's round disc is the solar plexus.
Oh, okay.
And I said that when you actually go to in my opinion, if you go to the Akashic, you're actually going in through the belly button and you're going in through the universe through there, not actually up and down. That's a human construct.
Yeah.
And if you go up to the Akashic via a beanstalk, that's kind of like an umbilical cord, right?
Yep. It is. Very much.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's just come to me now as, yeah.
See? Okay. And it says, please take off your shoes and come this way. So, this is so weird. And there's like a geisha girl now, all dressed up.
Yep.
And I bow to her. Now I seem very slim and like in robes myself, but not like the geisha girl robes and not like the monkey magic robes.
Yep.
Anyway, maybe ceremonial robes.
Yep.
The now I seem very slim comment. Like, what was that?
Yeah, also the geisha girl comment, because right now you can see my skin has not been out in the sun, right? So
Yeah.
I'm quite
Pale.
I would call it fluoro and pale. In my younger days, I used to be very tanned and have very olive skin, darker skin. And I do remember my parents made me do a June Dally Watkins deportment course.
Wow.
And at the time I was dating an engineer, and too much information, but we went out drinking. We did drink a lot in those days. And I remember I had my June Dally Watkins deportment ceremony. And I was in a white dress, which was like my formal dress. And then we had a couple change of outfits. And they told us to put on a lot of makeup because, if you're going to be a model, which it wasn't, I was just learning how to stand up straight and be pretty and a lady, you needed to put on extra layers of makeup, which I don't wear much of, because the cameras, you needed to have a shiny face or whatever for the cameras. And I just remember we went to that, and then we came home, and then I was going out with all the engineering dudes, and Dad said to me, "Are you going to change your makeup? Because you look like a combination between a geisha girl and a ghost."
Oh, wow.
And in sincerity, I should have taken that makeup off because it was for stage makeup and not for going to the pub makeup.
Exactly.
But that scene is very vivid in my mind. And so when I saw the geisha girl in my mind, I saw her very white makeup.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know if it's an analogy to my appearance or whatever. But then when we said very slim, I was like, here we go. Let's see what else. Yeah, who knows?
And so before I go any further, I have a sip of this liquid. Which does what? I don't know. It's not a truth serum. It's not because I'm not a spy. Everything behind my eyes has turned yellow.
Not just a welcoming tea or a opening up your mind expansion.
It's hard. It hurts in my heart right now.
It's more like a
Medicine
medicine.
dissolve.
Sorry?
It felt more, looking back at it now, because, you know, all I remember seeing is like a shot glass size.
Yeah.
And it being like a burning medicine, like as if you had a shot of Galliano Sambuca or something.
Okay.
You know, like not pleasant to take.
Yeah.
Allows you to dissolve so you become the sun.
That was interesting.
Interesting, because I don't remember any of this. Is like, what?
Sun.
To dissolve your avatar so you become light.
Colors one. Through you become the yellow-orange sun as well.
Sorry, what did I say there? I missed it.
So it's like it dissolves your being so that you become the same as the sun, the orange yellow, the same as the sun. So basically, my take on it was that you basically dissolve our avatar by drinking this to become back to the natural soul state, like pure light, so that you can become part of the central sun. That's what it seemed with what you were saying to me.
Right, okay.
There's no words or images coming. It's just like I dissolved for a minute and I've gone in there, but there's part of me that's still out here watching that I've gone in there. And because in there I don't seem to have any consciousness. I'm just the sun. And then when I'm ready, I come back out and I feel all good again. And I've got some kind of extra wisdom, knowledge. Oh, I don't know, just let me see.
Sit with it for a minute, see what comes.
Oh.
Tad of resistance there.
Remember, you're
so much
safe and
resistance.
protected.
Whenever there's anything about the wisdom, right?
And also interesting, City, because I don't know if you've seen it because you've been really busy, but
Oh, I see.
I was like saying to myself, I wonder what the next season will be. I wonder what the next season will be. And I was like, oh, it'll just come whenever. And then it did come. And the next season was, oh, it came after I did Trudy's first session.
Yep.
The next season is Infinite Love.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Yep.
And so they're going to be really short sessions because we're going to non-duality existences.
Yep.
And we experience that because we had time immemorial come through in Trudy's session, which really hurt my head. Oh my God.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then after that, I've been able to have a totally different level of hearing in my ears now.
Oh, that's interesting.
And I can hear commentary from the between worlds. So neither light nor neither dark in time immemorial through the infinity sign. And so she pops in every now and then to tell me the in-between wisdom. And so the next season will be going to the states where the Hathas live and those beings.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's not about love, not romantic love. It's learning about non-duality.
Yeah.
So that was very interesting. And I don't know if this bit here that we just did then was so that I could get that wisdom that where we are going next, but also this huge resistance because I'm like, I didn't like it.
And you do have big resistance to those things, yes, at times. Okay.
What scared me was it was like I was coming out of the sun in a new form, yet I could still see myself in the other form.
Okay.
So it looked like a snow monster coming out of the sun,
Yeah.
which I just equate to being formless, but about to develop a form.
Yep.
And so this dude who came up all the way up to the sun, he was a task-based, not task-based, wisdom teacher.
Yep.
Soul cycle thingy.
Yep.
And then he goes in there, gets refreshed, comes back out, and then, but he's still there. But the new snow monster comes back out of the sun. It's not a snow monster, but is very excited, and then goes and slides down a slippery slide. Kind of like when I come out of the Akashic with you, Cindy. And goes off and has an adventure. And it feels like the one that went down the slippery slide is there to have fun and experience emotions.
This part for me was really interesting because it's basically like you're splitting again, right?
Yeah, it's showing a different soul cycle.
Right?
Wherever they want to. Whereas the other slice of me that is outside of the door says, okay, done. Now I'm going to keep on going back down the mountain, and I've got other lectures to deliver elsewhere on other subjects that are important to other places. But this slice of my soul does not die. And I do not become unhappy because I am perfectly happy in my role, which is to share wisdom, to help people. But that part of me, which has been refreshed, is also happy because it has gone off to have experiences. That does seem like fun. Maybe I would like to do that, but I already know that I am doing that. And sometimes I think, oh dear, that's a bit strange. But then I'm like, I'm busy anyway. I'll just let him have his fun or her. And I'll go back to what I'm doing, and off they go. And then I don't bother about worrying about that, because that person there that is also me, is also my soul, is busy doing experiences. And if I look over that way, I can sort of see a circle that represents the man from the last session who was on the helicopter. And he was doing jobs saving people and things. And he is busy over there doing his things, right? And he is happy because he is getting tasks done. And the tasks are to save people. So that part of the soul is happy when it's doing tasks, right?
Yep.
So we have the wisdom, teaching, experiences, emotions, tasks, saving souls, and then there's a shape over here. And I don't know what that shape is yet. Shaped like a flower petal.
Mm-hmm.
I feel a bit shaky thinking about it, but that's something else.
Yeah, safe to go and look at it and understand.
Oh, so it's like when I explained, was I with you, Cindy, when I pulled out the yellow flower and showed the incarnations of the petals? No,
No, but you've told me about
it's
it.
like the sun is the center.
Yep.
Yeah, the sun is the center. And these, I keep wanting to say soul cycles, but it's different to soul cycles because these are emotions, knowledge, wisdom, teaching, task, something else. I don't quite understand how it fits in, but anyway, something, these are called something else, but they're also part of the original soul. Okay, so maybe what's this one over here? It's dark at the moment, this petal.
Yep. Is there a way it can be lit up?
Okay, so I've got the, yeah, so what I have to do here is that the problem is that I'm still standing here as the wisdom man, right?
Yep.
At the top of the mountain.
Yep.
And this exists. This is not me over there, but it is me. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
This one has a different identity.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I'm not supposed to jump over there and look, but also this is part of what the wisdom that might be part of the next thing that I have to teach. That makes sense?
Yep.
Like,
so if it is part of the next thing that you have to teach, how do you learn about it?
this. Yeah, that's a good question. That's what I don't understand.
Is there anyone there who can guide you?
I think I've got it.
Because I just thought,
Yeah?
I think, and I could be proven wrong in this second, that the bit that's shaped like a flower petal that is dark is something that the soul asked to do so that the wisdom guy could then teach the beings that are going to go in for the next round, not the ones that are going in for the flower to be flowers or creatures, but those who are coming in to help guide humans understand fear.
Yeah.
And so the thing that's thrown me is it said it's shaped like a petal. So is it one petal or is it all the petals of my fear-based incarnations that you and I have been exploring and we have been doing on the podcast as well? Because it's dark and I checked it the other day, actually just posted it, 8 sessions that went publicly on the podcast.
Oh, wow.
And we've done at least 13 others. And all of them, so we've done at least 20 dark fear-based past lives.
Yeah.
And these 2 were the first happiness, but they're not, we've only really, there's still that resistance.
There is.
Yes. So anyway, that's what I've got so far. So I don't know if that shaped like a flower petal represents the soul cycle of doing fear-based incarnations in order to help the wisdom dude, who I also am, to understand what fear is so that he can teach it to beings who have never experienced fear.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so if
Yep.
there
All
are,
right. Yep.
if there is a queue of beings everywhere that wish to incarnate and try being a human for a while, because we are a growth-based civilization,
Yep.
and emotions are on other planets, but we feel the most extreme forms of emotion, and we feel fear. And these people are queuing up to come in, and they're like not coping because they can't transcend the fear, and they keep getting stuck in karma. And if we want people to move past the notion that karma is experienced by the mind only, because we have fear, regret, guilt, remorse, sadness, then this soul-based incarnation, a soul-based whatever, this dark-shaped petal represents, and possibly not just me, but other people as well who have gone into this kind of a scenario to demonstrate all the situations in which these dark emotions exist for human beings on this planet. Something like that.
Yep. Okay. Yep.
Something I just saw, like a patch of cabbages. And out of the cabbage came a person that went, "Surprise, I'm born." And so maybe the slice of the soul is now in that patch.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm just supposed to stand here and say, I will watch for a while while I see what I do over there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I'm still up on the top of the mountain.
So, like, if it is for you to learn and understand how to then go on and teach about these fear-based situations and everything, then what you're saying now about standing there watching and everything, like you learning, so to speak, right?
Yep.
And I feel like this wisdom teacher fellow, this is a new badge that he earns. It's like getting a PhD in human terms. And this is where experience and theory crosses, because you need to analyze it, but you also have to experience it. But how can you be in two places at once? But you can be. So if we just pull out a chair for him to sit down on, and give him a strong brew of some sort, he can just sit there and relax, and he can watch what happens next, and we can go to the cabbage patch and say hello to this part of the soul that is going to do the next bit, but we don't know what it is.
Okay.
But there's... Right, hang on. Just a bit of green. I'm doing some healing so I can do this.
This is also interesting.
Yep.
Because I'm verbalizing that they're doing healing. Because they made me say that this is non-therapeutic sessions to cover the fact that, this is not following a hypnotherapist or a past life regression therapist script.
Yep.
So the human part of me needs to say, this is not therapy. This does not come under the guild of hypnotherapists or hypnotists. And this part here is angel therapy, but we can't use that word either because we are not Kyle Gray or somebody who has become famous with the angels. But here I am saying, there's these different color lights behind my eyes and we're doing healing. Oh, no one let us say that. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And also, you know, in the other sessions, like you did come across one scene where you're visibly distressed
Mhm.
with your spirit guide.
Yep.
Um,
Exactly. Yeah.
so there has been evidence that there has been stuff going on behind the scenes, but in this session here, my second one, it's like we're hitting bang with a lot of
it.
Yeah, intersection between happiness and fear, or you know, learnings, or whatever it is.
I think that's an interesting point though too, because we are looking at what we consider happiness from the human ego point of view, right? What happiness is to the human, right?
Mm.
I don't think it's the same thing to what happiness is to the soul. From everything that I've learned and understood, I think from a soul's perspective, growth of any kind, growth and expansion, it constitutes what we can, in human terms, consider happiness, right? I think that's something to me that is sort of shown through these sessions. Like, I think the ego in us is blocking some of those, like in my session where I saw and like, that can't be right, because that's not a happy moment, according to human terms, right? But it was a big growth moment for the soul, right? In my session, which I think actually does constitute happiness for the soul in the human terms that we use. Do you know what I mean? You following what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I am following exactly. But then I also grapple with the fact that, say, for example, different souls have different definitions. Because if we have a look at Katie Carey's sessions, they were all what we would call standard human
Happiness, love and light.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Katie chose, and that's what she was comfortable with at a
Yeah.
soul level, to show us those very beautiful, happy moments.
Yeah.
To remind us that those also do constitute happiness. It's not just about soul growth.
Yeah.
And maybe she did experience soul growth in those incarnations, but we didn't see the soul growth because she didn't choose to show us that it wasn't the point of those moments.
Yeah, I do think you're right. It's a very individual.
Yeah, and that's what I'm still trying to understand is, why do some people show you, and again, you'll see it's totally different again with Trudy's. Trudy's sessions are very different again.
But maybe that's the point behind the whole sessions, Katish, is that happiness from a soul perspective is so varied, right? So each participant's experiences have been come forward to show those differences, but it all constitutes the same thing from a soul perspective, right?
Yeah.
From the traditional happy to the expansion to all the different, things that can constitute happiness from a soul perspective. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Right?
Oh, a lot of eyes flashing behind my eyes. Like it's trying to show me. Just going like which person do I want to be born as? He seems very big. I seem very big. This face wants to be mine. Awesome. I can see like two faces in front of my eyes, like I'm trying to choose which one.
Okay, yep.
But I'm not looking as though I'm looking behind those eyes. I'm looking as though those eyes are being presented to me as a face really close to mine, but facing me.
Yep.
And then I have to look into the eyes, my eyes, see does that fit? Does that match? And that one does seem to match.
Continual resistance.
Yeah, but it was interesting because it's like, you know how they say the eyes are the window to the soul.
Yep.
And so I'm being presented to a face with a face, and I could see that face
Yep.
very vividly, but not in human form. I saw that as if it was in X-ray form, but not bones. Like imagine we took a photo right now, and the scene was like black and white, and so I was looking into the eyes of the souls.
Yep.
And then it's like it would see if it was a magnetic emotion energetic match. So it's like I would look into the eyes and something would happen that would look down the eyes to see what was going to happen for that vessel of that body for that incarnation. And it's like somewhere in the back of my brain, it was like, is that a match for the objectives? Yes, no.
Interesting.
Move the face across, go to the next one.
Very interesting. Yeah, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
See a mother's pregnant belly from the outside.
Yep.
I don't know whose it is. I was just focused on that face. Okay.
Sorry.
Yep.
I can't remember because you didn't do the healer's path sessions, did you? No. So this is basically showing you the between lives realm right now, even though I'm calling it a cabbage patch, because this is what we experienced with the participants in the healer's path season, is that they showed us that point at which they were evaluating their body selection.
Yep.
I can't see that face anymore, but what happens next?
That also makes sense, sorry.
Yeah.
Because it explains why, if you can do that, right, and that's how you do body selection, then it explains why I find it difficult, because when I see somebody's eyes, like not necessarily always at the first time, but very frequently, I can say, I've seen those eyes before and I've interacted with that soul before.
Yeah.
And I know with certainty that I have. Sometimes I get the wrong information as to who they were because it's part of their learning experience and I'm not necessarily supposed to know who they've been.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's been very conflicting for me, because I'd say, I know those eyes and I know the emotions that go with why I know those eyes. And so what am I supposed to do with that information? Because I know who I was in that lifetime. I know how you interacted with me. And do I want to wish to interact with this soul again? And the answer is yes, because there's that soul urging, like, hello, here's my friend, I know them. Hello, here's that bastard, I know them. But then my conscious mind has to go, but you're different and they're different. Do you want to lock eyes again, or do you want to go, can't see you, bye?
Yeah, that's an interesting gift to have, to be able to see that in all those around you. I think it has both great benefit and disadvantage.
Yeah, huge
to
disadvantage
you in this lifetime, because you are able to see and recollect not only the good but also the bad of what's occurred, which makes things very difficult from a human standpoint.
And it's also how I know that, many times my human being continues to question, can you be really sure that you were that person, even though you've done it in regression or you've had a past life recollection? And they have shown me very specific instances where I have died, for example, and they've showed me the death scene, and I can feel it, and I can be inside the skeleton, so I know it is me.
Yeah.
But then I cannot do what I would think I can do, which is to say, let's make it up, pretend I was a famous author in a past lifetime, right? Or I said famous things, made famous speeches. I cannot do like, where's a better example? You know how Anne Frank, her lifetime, she's currently incarnated, and the lady who, your name is Judy or Judith? I found her at the very beginning of 2000, and I watched everything that I could on her, and she literally found out she was Anne Frank because she had this incessant desire to go to Anne Frank's house. And she basically spoke to the people who were doing the tours, and she said, oh, you've moved this and you've moved that, and this is different. And they're like, yes, how do you know? We've not told anybody, and that picture wasn't there, or you've moved that 2 centimeters over there. And she knew exactly everything. And then she experienced all the nightmares, and it became, I can't even say it, I feel a trauma. She began processing that trauma as Anne Frank. And her life has been, to some extent, being clouded. No, Barbaro. I don't know where Judith's from. Maybe that's another name she has in another incarnation. But she wrote a book about it. And of course, everybody gave a shit about it, didn't they? How could you be Anne Frank? And then she's been clouded by similar struggles that I have gone through. But I am Anne Frank, and I was Anne Frank, but I'm not Anne Frank. And I'm clearly doing the healing of the trauma for her, because why is that? Because it should have been done upstairs or whatever. And maybe Anne Frank didn't go to the light, I don't know. But also, then who am I as a person? If I'm this lady, but I'm also her, why have I spent 50 years of my life discovering her? And now what do I do with the rest of my life?
Yeah.
So that's what, yes, a long way to come around with the eyes and the recognition. And I guess she would also say it has been a great gift, but a great, not disaster, but disaster does want to come out, like a great challenge to overcome, to know that you are two people at once. And for me, it's to know that I am, look at this, multiple petals all at once, and to even see my own death scenes over and over again.
Yeah.
And go, who the hell is Katische Haberfield?
Yeah, when you go right into it, it is very, for the human mind to comprehend and deal with while we're here, it is very overwhelming.
So that was just interesting to see those eyes, because anyway, it's a long way around me saying that, yes, I could see that so vividly. And yes, I had to censor myself because I was about to say out loud who the person was that I could see go through that negative experience. But I guess that's what happens when humanity grapples with the concept of, have you been reincarnated? Is there such a thing? Somebody's got to go and display it, and I'm doing it very publicly, and I do have struggles with it, big struggles.
Yep.
But it's part of the process that obviously my soul finds happiness in other incarnations. The wisdom dude, he's happy because he's sitting down with a brew and he's having watching a home movie.
Exactly, right? Exactly.
I can see another little face, and I'm trying to decide if that is me still looking at me. Like I haven't, like the baby is in the womb, but I haven't got into the womb yet. Do you know what I mean? Or if there's another baby in the womb, like there's twins. That's what I'm looking for. Trying to understand. All right. Oh, there's me. And there's me.
This was very confusing. I can remember it now. And what it is, My mother lost a baby before me and after me.
Okay. Yep.
But I also got that the before baby
Yep.
was most likely, I'm pretty certain, me trying to come in. And then maybe I did like Rose, the baby ghost, and I went, I can't deal with that fear. I'm going to try again. And so maybe I rejected myself and then tried to come in again. And because we know that there was already something that was going to come in with me from another lifetime, another version of me.
Yep.
I've just got my pen stuck in my hair because obviously that's still
there. Yes.
So when the other version of me came in at the same time, which has been on other podcasts and stuff, the alchemist,
mm-hmm.
when he came into the womb at the same time, that's why and now I'm getting it, that's why I see myself as being a twin.
Yep.
Because I see myself very distinctly in the pram. There's two of us.
Yep.
Even though my mother gave birth to one child only.
Yep.
So I think there's 2 or 3 layers there in terms of I tried once, couldn't do it. She miscarried, came again, and then, oh boy, there's another baby in there, but nobody else can see that baby but me. And it's not a baby, it's a fully grown incarnation of me that never went to the light. Because of the lion, I was fed to the lion. There we go. Fed
there
to
you
the
go.
lion. There's the lion thing.
Wow. Wow. Yep. Another big realization, tick off the list.
Yeah, fed to the lion. Lions are scary to me because, yeah, hello, eaten by a lion.
Why you had to not be, yes, disguise the lion. Yep.
So anyway, that it just explains this scene, which I do find very confusing because I can see 2 of us in the pram.
Sorry. Yeah, which is very confusing. Yeah.
Which is representative as the womb, I think.
Yeah.
2 of us in the womb.
Yeah. The back and forth.
Yes, but I can't figure out where I am. It's kind of like confusing. Like, feeling of, do I exist or do I not exist?
Probably is confusing at the start. The soul's coming in like that.
Like I was just seeing different stages of the development.
Yep.
Because the eyes look different over here to over here.
But is it different stages of development, or are you looking at maybe a twin or something of that nature?
Well, that's what I'm trying to
So then it would be
I'm trying to figure out.
The same set of eyes, but different.
Could we do both? Because at some stage it looks like a tadpole.
I think I was picking up on the whole duality of the alchemist and everything coming in at the same time there. That's why I was asking those specific questions.
Some stage it looks black, but nothing. Okay. But I think they're saying that I'm getting stuck on something that doesn't need to be getting stuck on.
Yeah. Okay. So try to move forward.
Next, what happens next? Okay, because born in a pram.
Okay.
We're in a pram that is blue.
Yep.
And why am I saying we're being pushed around? We can't see in the pram. Yeah, that's what I know. I can't see in the pram, but I know there's a white blanket.
Do you feel like you have lots of room in the pram or just enough room?
I feel like it's a big pram.
Okay.
Like there are maybe more than one people pushing the pram too.
Okay.
That part was interesting.
Like maybe
Yeah.
doesn't feel quite right, but maybe just pretend. You lived by a big park and there was a daycare center.
Yep.
And they did take all the babies out for a stroll.
Yep.
But they had plenty of room. And so they put all the babies together in one gigantic stroller.
Yep.
Or maybe they're just so close together it feels like it. And then there's a pair of hands for each stroller, but they're all going at once.
Yep.
See, I think that maybe that is supposed to represent that.
Side.
Sorry?
I think maybe that's supposed to represent that knowingness that I have of being able to be in touch with all lifetimes at once whilst in the one body.
That would make sense, yeah.
Because there's no such thing as time except
yeah.
for on Earth, and I can tap into memories from any incarnation.
Yeah, all the way down, right?
And so it's like I'm seeing myself being born and all pushing the one pram plus this double incarnation at once.
Yeah.
And the reason that I say this is because just if we go back to that bit about my mum, I have really struggled with the things that I have said on other people's podcasts about what happened to my dad and then also my mum and this alchemist, because it's like it was important to my journey, and we see here it comes up again, but I felt like I have broken sanctity because I did not ask permission for that, because she is not interested in it, but it's my memory. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And so I've had those fear reactions where I've thought many times, do I need to go and ask those people to delete that? But you do sign a disclaimer and it's their content then, and it's also part of my journey. So it's also very interesting to see how entangled we are.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Some fresh air.
Yep.
Then the grandmothers in the park, they do wave to the ladies who are pushing the pram. And they wave to the babies. And that makes them happy. And the babies see the pigeons. And I don't know what else the babies see, but they seem happy.
Yep.
And there's a part of me that's getting frustrated, like, what's the point of this? But I'll keep going.
The point is you're showing different
And
parts
the
of
water fountain is there in the middle.
happiness. Remember?
It's interesting because you asked, what's the point of seeing all this?
Yeah, and because I was grappling, because the nannies seemed very British.
Go on a bit further along.
Sorry, yeah, go.
The nannies seemed very British.
Baby.
Yeah, the nanny seemed very British. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It seemed like a British park. So I was like, what?
It's, yeah, like I tried to remind you that, the point of it was to show your soul's happiness. that you still struggled with moving forward.
Yeah, because the soul likes explaining things.
And yeah, the things that make you happy are not the same the things that make everybody else happy. I think that's one thing that's shown out very clearly over this season on your podcast with it. Very much so.
Bounced on the grandmother's knee because they feel protected and they don't know anything but love.
Yeah.
These babies, anyway. They're blissfully unaware. You don't have to worry about what's in the newspaper that day. Or how to buy groceries.
Yep.
They just know how to be a baby.
Yep.
Don't you know they feel happy when they see anybody? They're happy to see everybody. Some babies can see boogie monsters. They're never happy to see them, but that's okay. They're learning about fear. They can see the boogie monsters. But some kids don't see them. They just, oh, it's bright light. Some babies see the bright lights instead of the boogie monsters, and the bright lights are very bright. They're the children who can see the angels from birth. And they can be a bit sensitive because the light is so bright. It hurts their eyes.
Yep.
But they are not afraid because there's nothing to be afraid of. It just feels like the sun is shining directly in your eyes all day, every day, until they get adjusted to it.
Okay, yep.
And then some babies can see, I can see another face and see like faces that they seem to know from somewhere, but they don't know why because they're just babies. But these faces that I can see do seem to be comforting. And
Is this like their parents' faces or other people or?
no, like ancestors.
Okay, yep.
Like mediumship for babies.
Yep. Okay.
Like they can see the people behind the veil. So that's 3 types of babies so far.
Yep.
Then there's the blissfully unaware, the babies that can see the boogie monsters, the babies that can see the angels, the babies that can see the ancestors or spirit family. Done my fingers. What other kinds of babies are there? Sad babies. These babies, I don't know why they seem sad, but they seem sad. Something making them very sad.
Is it pain? Is it loss? Or can you feel into why they're feeling sad at all?
Seems like they have a checklist. Oh, it's hurting my head. It's like they decided to combine a task and an experience at once. And they feel confused. Because why does that baby feel so blissful and I feel like my head is hurting and I'm crying all the time?
Yep.
Maybe there's something wrong with my leg or my head or I can't see properly, but I seem to have bitten off more than I can chew.
Okay. Yep.
But I'll keep going anyway.
Yep.
Just those kind of babies. There's the babies with the big hearts that they decided just to come to be love. Whenever you're around these kind of babies, they don't quite look right. I don't want to give them a kind of a name, but they seem to be in love with everybody that they meet. They have got no filter to love. They just love. And they bring happiness, yep, to everybody, except for some that might bully them, but otherwise they are just like permanently providing love to people. Yep. They're just happy to be born to do that. Yep. And I think that's about all the babies that I want to talk about now. Okay. But some babies, there's one more category. Some babies are very impatient. They choose to be born and they want to check off all of those categories all at once.
I had to have that little giggle there because it made me immediately think of you, Katische.
Yeah, see, until I said that, then I thought I must have been the sad baby, but then, yeah, the impatient baby.
Because it just reminded me of you so much.
Do you know anyone like that?
And that can be very difficult. Me.
That's my smug look,
Is
sorry.
that why you were showing these?
I know, and the thing is, when I said it must have been me be the sad baby, and that's because of the energy of the alchemist.
Yeah.
I was described even by my closest friends as Eeyore.
Oh, right.
Yeah, always looking at the
gloomy
negative
side. Yeah.
Yeah, but also if I look back at all my photos from my childhood, I'm always beaming and happy. So how people, and my original comment, from back in 2000 was, I perceive myself differently than other people perceive me. And until we remove the alchemist, I didn't get a true, my insides didn't match my outsides.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The big heart part is I don't have that bit. I don't have an extra chromosome.
Saying that we have to be all of these babies at some stage?
Not necessarily, no.
Okay.
I think this is a choose your own adventure.
Yep. Okay.
Depends what your soul wants to learn.
Yep. Okay.
But I feel definitely those big lovey babies are a very special category. Special honor.
Do you feel that's only something you can do after you've got to a certain level or a certain achievement, or?
No, I think anybody can choose to do that.
Okay.
But it just requires you to be confident
Okay, yep.
in your ability to be a beacon of love and happiness.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are many ways you can provide joy and happiness and love to people, and you can do that just by being any of the other one of the babies.
Yep.
But those babies do especially want to bless specific souls who need a blessing.
Yep. Okay.
Or who need a blessing in disguise.
Yep.
Or who need to learn a very specific lesson about love, and they decide that would be a nice way to learn it rather than maybe, say, going through 750 bad divorces.
Okay. Yep.
I don't think that was a very good example, but that's the one that came to my mind.
Yep. Okay.
So you can do it the hard way, or you can do it whatever way you like. Hang on, there's lots of yellow and white at the moment behind my eyes. Just processing that. So you can be a ray of sunshine in any way, in any incarnation, but you have to take your raincoat off and allow the sun to shine through you. And some people don't realize that they have a raincoat on and they need to take it off. It's kind of like a barrier.
Yep.
But that is part of the lesson. But what I don't understand is
So is the raincoat a symbol of spiritual awakening? They take that off and let their light shine?
no, it's
Okay.
just a symbol of being. You don't have to be anything. You don't have to be. You just have to be. I don't know how else to put it. You just have to be who you came to be. And
I still find that part hard to comprehend, because to me that is what spiritual awakening is all about, is actually learning to discover the true you and just be that. To me, that is
So I've been
the full
talking
definition of spiritual awakening to me, you know.
Yeah, no, and see, this is what I've been conversing with them about, and they basically keep taking me back to that baby scene, and they say, you chose to be Katische Haberfield.
Mm-hmm.
You chose to be the impatient baby with a long list to tick off. So be that.
Yep. Yep.
Which hasn't really helped, but they keep saying it. You chose to be Katische Haberfield. Be Katische Haberfield.
Yeah, thanks for that. Right. Okay.
And the impatient part of me goes, could you give me a clearer mud map? And you're like, no, you have a very long list and you chose a very long list. So do the long list. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
you could come to be a politician. And a politician doesn't need a spiritual awakening to be a good politician.
No,
Just
but
needs
they,
to be
by spiritual awakening, I mean come back to
best
themselves.
version of themselves. When we're saying the same thing.
Mhm.
So correct.
Mhm.
But what I meant is that some people do that by doing courses and being religious or being spiritual. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And they have it as a spiritual awakening because they tried to do it because somebody said they needed to increase their vibration.
Yeah.
Or they needed to do this or that or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying is that by being you and nobody else, you're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what you were saying anyway, right?
It was, yes. My choice of words was not good, yes.
No, it's not.
And that's about the first time I've agreed with you.
Sorry?
And that's like, to me, quite funny, because I'm like agreeing with you instead of arguing with you for a change.
Yeah, that's very true because we usually do sit on, yeah. It is funny.
Opposite side of the fence, yep.
Yeah.
Yes, I
Some
understand.
people hear it your way, some people hear it a different way. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, exactly.
Yes. So it's a bit like it's a bit like when Katisha's being bossy to Cindy. Cindy. That is when Katish is trying to do the wisdom fellow, right?
Yes,
And a bit of the task fellow.
yes.
And that's just because it's not her being bossy, but her bringing in knowledge and transmissions from the other parts of her soul who say, "Bring me in, Scotty, I've got something to say here."
Yep.
I didn't even watch that show, but anyway. Bring me in, Scotty, I've got a transmission for you. And sometimes it is not received well because Katish is Katish. And she's not this person and not that person, but she is also them. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And so she has to decide and to figure out how to be Katish.
Yes.
And so it does seem very simple to say just be you, but that's the most difficult thing there is to be because you have been so many beings on so many places that sometimes it's like,
I think that's a really important statement for people to appreciate and understand that our job is to just be us, but that is the hardest job in the world.
Yeah. And also, I have chastised myself for being the bossy person because it's both me and not me. It's both my energy and not my energy. But people know me as being bossy, right? And then also, until whoever's talking right there said it, did I not realize that those were transmissions and that I've always been doing this?
Yep.
That was like, okay. So, right. Okay. Right. I've always been getting multiple messages at once. I just didn't realize that.
Yeah. I think so many of us do that and we do not even realize that's what's happening at the time. It's, it takes a long time till we actually are fully aware of that situation, I think. Yeah.
where did I come from?
And we have been conditioned by so much of our experience.
Because sometimes you can say, I don't know who I am because I can only remember being somebody else.
Yep.
Or something like that. So being you is very difficult, actually, but actually not difficult. It's, what do you call those? That word, oxymoron? Something like that.
Yeah, we know what you mean.
Paradox is what I said.
Paradox, yeah.
Contrasting situation where it seems ridiculous, but it is. It's when two opposites occur at once.
Yeah.
Okay, now. So, anyway. And sometimes the only way that you can be you is by discovering what you are not.
Yeah.
And who you are not.
That makes sense, yes.
And I've got a lot of lights behind my eyes at the moment. Interrupting.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, there's this face that's very trying to come through. I don't know who it is.
That's okay. Invite them through and we may be able to find out.
The deathly silence, eh?
Can bring in somebody now. Somebody like the wise woman under the sea. That doesn't sound right. Who's the wise woman under the sea?
Oh. Don't question it.
Fancy me saying that to you. Don't question it.
What does the wise woman under the sea have for us today?
Just keep seeing the mermaid and the treasure chest.
That's the treasure chest.
She's just saying, come down here for a minute. Your mind is a bit choppy from all the brain waves. You just need to come under the sea and let it calm for a minute.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so that was important because you know how I did do a lot of Tom Kenyon stuff?
Yes.
When I get into, and not always, when I was going through that big expansion with seeing alternate timelines and
Yep.
all that sort of stuff, I listened to a couple of their very subliminal sound healings.
Yep.
And one of them for overwhelm. And you do remember when I did having that disastrous night where I overheated.
Yes.
And I described to you.
Yes.
In that recording, they do say, and it didn't work on that night, come down to the bottom of the ocean and let the ocean basically, let the storm go above you.
Yep.
Let the waves crash above you and lie on the bottom of the ocean and just relax. basically what I got from that then is if you had like a brainwave monitor on me, I was overheating. It was not doing good for my body. So that's why they ask me for that moment to come down under the ocean.
Yeah.
I was cooking a brain.
Yep.
So to speak.
Yep.
Too much.
Yeah, too much for the human body to handle.
Because the big angel does want to come through, but you must be very calm to do that because you have your eyes closed and you're not staring at the camera.
That was interesting.
Yes. Because I can channel very easily looking through the camera.
Yep.
And then yesterday
Okay.
they made me challenge myself to do it outside in public by a river.
That explains a lot with that statement now. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The purple angel Angel Vakaya says that you can come back another day, but he thinks you will want to hear what is coming next. For Katische discover, and she decides to step into Katische rather than the other ones. She has been very good at connecting with naturally during her current lifetime. Because she is rather uncomfortable with being out of control. And that is why the task and the wisdom and the rescue ones were easier to be and direct her activities towards, because she knew she was helping them do their job. By being here as an assistant. But she can also just let them do their jobs now, as they have a team of assistants anyway, and she can just concentrate on discovering who she is. She's going to make her cry because she's nearly 49. How can you spend 49 years being assistance to yourself whilst not being yourself, but being very good at being assistance to yourself, if you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because maybe if she doesn't help find ghosts, or do regressions, or help heal the other people she has been. And now her babies don't need bouncing anymore because they are big boys. What does she be? She does not be a mother.
She will always be a mother.
And who does she be if she does not be a teacher? And who does she be if she does not be on a big ship in the sky? Who does she be if she's not checking planets to see there's no beings left on there? He has discovered many kings and queens and Vikings and Egyptians and Indians and monks and children who got stolen in towers and explorers. And what does that leave to be? And if you have been a mermaid and a unicorn and or an owl and a lion and a whale and a dolphin, and when we told her to do this series, we wanted her to help her find who she is to be. Because you see, everybody that she has been both happy and sad and scared and excited, as well as being dead and being alive, and being in love and being out of love, being up trees and being at the bottom of the ocean. She did want to solve the problem for everybody so that they could do this session and say, ta-da, I be this now. I put this sticker on my forehead and I can look in the mirror and say, I am blah, 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 and I do this. And I saw this because I did this session that said, I am happiest when I do this. And she thought she could make the people happier by doing this. So it was a bit about she thought she could bring in some wisdom and some tikdon. But it doesn't seem like that.
It's interesting listening to you here, right? How critical you are of what's gone on with it. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're saying all the things that you have done and been, and what can you be now, right? And you're like saying about the session, what your ideal of what the session was supposed to be was like, or ideally was to reveal to everybody what their path is through what makes their soul the happiest, right? And like you're being critical that it hasn't achieved that, or you don't feel like it's achieved that. Yeah, like to me, I'm taking it as you're being quite harsh on yourself in your own judgments of what you expected to learn or find or.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing you say is you're saying that Archangel Zadkiel is showing me that I've been critical of myself rather than Archangel Zadkiel has been critical of me. That's, yeah.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Whereas I'm the one that sits back and always sees you and tries to convey to you, which I probably don't do very well a lot of the time, but I try to convey to you that I see Katische as all of these parts, like, because you keep wanting to find who Katische really is, but to me, Katische is all of these combined, all of these different parts and things. And yes, okay, they came from
absolutely,
parts, but that's how it is, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And through a lot of that, I really just wanted to be able to be there and give you a big hug because I felt like that's what you needed at times through that. But
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was pretty emotional for me even now to watch.
Yeah, exactly, right? That's the biggest thing I just wanted to. But anyway, okay, I digress as usual.
Has worked. Why do you say that?
We don't say that, but she says that. Because see, the rescue part, she's still holding on to rescue. I shall rescue you and show you your happiness and your heart, and you shall be better. And you shall be happy forever and ever and ever. And we shall say that happiness is just one aspect of an experience. You don't have to be happy all the time, but you have to find a way to be happy instead of being sad all the time, or peaceful instead of being worried all the time, or joyful instead of being like an Eeyore all the time. And that is all we wanted to show, was to show people that, to quote Dumbledore, in the darkest of times, all you have to do is to remember to turn the light on. That's all I was meant to do. Just to show you that when you focus on the happiness, you turn the light on for yourself and for others. You don't need to have the light on all day because it would be too bright and you couldn't sleep, if you know what I mean. Yep. But you do need to remember that the light switch is there That is the most important thing we want to teach the world right now, is to switch the light on when you feel afraid or feel worried. Even if it's just for 2 minutes while you have a cup of tea, switch the light on.
Okay. Okay, hi. All right, I won't ask any more questions then.
Apparently.
I did want to ask more questions, but okay, I won't.
You came out of that really fast at the end.
Yeah.
Like really fast. Like I said, I was planning on asking some more questions. I don't remember what they were now, but at the time I did have a couple more questions I was about to fire at you, but you came straight back out of it.
And no
Yeah.
slippery slide needed.
Nothing on that one at all. You were just back. So, yeah. Should we keep playing the rest of the discussion here?
I don't know whether we went into anything private or not.
I don't know either. I don't remember.
That's like 40 minutes, so possibly we might just leave it at that
Yeah.
and press stop on the record, and then we can play it back ourselves. But I think for the podcast episode, there's just too many identities and things that I'm not comfortable as Katish to reveal if we've discussed names, and because I don't understand it.
Yeah.
I'm not understand because I don't remember it.
Yep. Yep. I get that. So that should have stopped recording now, according to my screen.
Yeah, it still says recording on mine.
Does it? Okay, hang on. Where the heck is that one? Let me just find